Back in 1986, Victory Games released a game by designer Joe Balkowski called The Korean War. It remains, in the opinion of many, including myself, the finest simulation on the Korean War ever released. Now in May of 2021, a new edition has been released by Compass Games of that Victory Games classic, and we're going to talk about that here today. Sometimes the unboxing video just goes wrong. So we're going to do something that I haven't done before. In the past, I've just ditched the video, but Compass Games sent me this. So we're gonna walk through the brand new release of Joe Balkowski's The Korean War. And even though they did send me this, I actually ordered it as well. This is something that I had been looking forward to for a long time. This is the new version of the classic Victory Games Korean War from 1986, which I have played, and which is, I will tell you, the best simulation of the Korean War. I've played a couple others, including OCS Korea, which I like a lot. It's fun to play, but this is the best simulation of the Korean War, and it does not take a million years to play. So we're not doing a traditional unboxing because I had a hiccup, which I will discuss as we go here, but the new Korean War has arrived. It looks very nice. I do like the cover with the sort of natural satellite map, and it is a standard Compass Games 2-inch wargaming industry standard box, and we've got some stuff on the back, which I will not go through word for word, but let's take a look at the components. The first component I'm going to take a look at are the two books. There is a rule book and a playbook. Now, I will say that it would be my preference to have different covers on the two different books, but certainly it's more economical to do just a single cover for both books and just change the title. So we have a rules of play and a playbook. The rules of play, to start with that, is a 40-page book with an index, which is always good to see. Most of this book is, in fact, rules. Pretty much all of this book is, in fact, rules, actually. It is full color. It is a matte finish paper. It is a nice weight, but not extraordinarily thick or anything like that. Not all of the rules to the game are in the rule book. Some stuff is in the playbook as well. We have a big counter guide up front. The print size is relatively large as these things go, so I think this is going to be a relatively easy reading rulebook. There are also a lot of examples, which is also really nice. The playbook is, I believe, also 40 pages, also full color, matte finish, very well illustrated. There is a extended example of play in the back. The playbook is also 40 pages on the same paper stock, the matte finish, relatively nice weight. There are some rules here. This contains, obviously, the scenarios, but it also contains the advanced game rules that you will use for the entire campaign. And these are the rules that I think really bring this thing to life as a simulation to the United Nations commitment level. The involvement of communist Chinese. This game really captures the sort of geopolitical environment that the Korean War takes place in, rather than something like, say, OCS Korea, which really only handles the operational actions of the military forces. So also to be found in the rule book is a Joe Balkowski specialty, which is the Game as History section, which we will get to here. A historical perspective. And then we have the Game as History, which kind of walks you through the actual history of the conflict in the context of the game. Joe has done this in his Great Campaigns of the American Civil War titles. It's become a standard in that series, and I have always really, really liked this particular feature. This is going to be fantastic reading. Next, we're going to take a look at the player aids, of which there's a big stack. Now, back in the day, it was kind of a standard technique for wargame publishers to put all the charts and tables either on the map or in the rule book. Sometimes Victory Games and TSR, I know, did pull out sections in the center of the rule book. That is not something I liked. In this case, Compass has brought us up to a fully modern standard. Everything is on a big stack, actually, of player aid cards, a couple of which are double-sided and double-sized, the 11 by 17 cards, and each side has its own set of cards. You can tell by the colors. And there are also a couple of displays here as well. This is to keep track of the error game, and this is just a display that you would set up. There's another one for other scenarios here, which is here for basic game scenarios 1, 2, 4, and 5. So there's the basic game, and this is for base game scenario 3. There's the base game, and then there's the campaign game. We also have this game turn record, which is sort of an expanded sequence of play, which is something that is super helpful in this game because the way the game plays changes as the game continues. So there's a lot of special things that you will execute on specific turns, and this card, game turn 1 through game turn 12, will tell you all of those things so that you don't miss anything, because it's kind of critical to how the game plays to not miss those things. So there is a tiny errata slip that comes in the game, which is some pretty trivial tiny correction. And then we have the maps. Now, it did not register somehow for me that this is in fact a 4-map game. I'm pretty sure I did know that, but it is a 4-map game. The original is a 2-map game. The counters are, the box says, and we'll talk about the counters in a minute. The box says that the counters are 9/16" counters. They look a little smaller than that to me, but I'm not measuring them either. But the hexes are definitely a bit oversized. So the hexes are going to be pretty roomy for these counters. It does take up, a 4-map footprint rather than a 2-map footprint, which is probably going to be a problem for some people. But nevertheless, I do like the art style that the map employs. I believe the map art here is by Ted Kohler, and I think it looks really nice. So again, 4 maps. They are not mounted as you'd expect a 4-map game. I am aware that there's an example of a game that is for a 4-map game that has mounted maps. That is a ridiculous example, and nobody else can reasonably be expected to do that. There are 3 counter sheets, really 2.5. One of the counter sheets is half blanks. I think this is probably just an artifact of the new printer that Compass Games is using for their counters. I will also mention that these are a set of replacement counters. I know that a lot of folks have had issues with, when they've gotten their game open, registration issues on the counters. So I did have to request a replacement set of these 2 sheets from Compass, which they provided very speedily. So just contact sales@compassgames.com if yours have that problem. Not everybody is having that problem, but I did. So, and I didn't want to show off the badly read, and I'm not going to show you the badly registered counters. They're bad enough that I would have had to contact them because they weren't going to be usable. But otherwise, these counters are on a very thick brown core stock. Not 100% sure these are going to fit in my clipper, but I guess we'll find out because I intend to clip this and get it ready to play relatively expeditiously, because this is a fantastic game that I heartily recommend, and I think it deserves play. So we have then taken a look at all of the various components of the brand new Korean War Joe Balkowski's classic Victory Games design, newly released from Compass Games. This has been quite a while coming. I know that Compass took their time with this, and I'm glad to see that, even though they had a hiccup with their new counter printer. So it's well worth your time. I will put a link to the product page on Compass Games' website in the video description, so please check that out. Hopefully you have found the video interesting, useful, or entertaining. If so, please give it a thumbs up. Please do subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to click the little bell icon to get notified when new content comes out. If you'd like to support Ardwulf's Lair, please check out the links to the Patreon and merch store in the video description. Until next time, thanks for watching and happy wargaming.